welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel G Bluetooth 786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you're blessed and doing safe right now. Every year, or at least every 2 to 4 years, when a seat comes up around November, it's always time to get the people motivated and get the people registered to vote and go out and do your duty. That's what they throw at us. Every year they send different people out to tell us the importance of voting and why you need to go vote. And practically what happens when they say that is that they want to shame us nowadays into voting how they want. In other words, it's not about really just going to vote. It's to vote for who they want you to vote for, and I've told you that before. Now, you guys have heard me say that if you're going to vote, you vote locally. You're more impacted by what happens in your local elections. You know, I'm not against that, but don't be loyal to one political party. You be loyal to your interest. That's what every group does every year when they vote. When you have conservatives that are voting, when you have liberals voting, they're voting based on ideology, and they're voting based on that block. Black people in this country, we have been conditioned to vote for two things, either out of fear or for history. And those tactics cannot and do not work anymore. You cannot force young people, especially those under 30, and even in my age group, those under 40, to vote, you know, for the Democratic Party, to keep voting for the Democratic Party, especially from those candidates we know that have been in office for over 20 years and have gotten no results. You know, and you point your finger at us telling us to vote. And we hear this shit every 2 to 4 years, you know, we got to go out and vote and make change. Black people have been voting, literally had the right to vote at least since the since the late 1800s, around 1875, if I'm not mistaken. That was the year the 15th Amendment was passed. And of course, we do know, even with that passed, after the end of Reconstruction, you had the black codes being enacted, poll tax, grandfather clause, that was used to prevent black people from voting. You had threats of violence from the Ku Klux Klan, as well as racial riots that broke out in different states across the country. Even here in Louisiana, we had the Opelousas lynchings that occurred. That was about black people trying to get registered to vote, as well as in different parishes, I believe in Natchitoches as well, Louisiana, Point Coupé, all of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's always been here. That's always been prevalent. So it's not anything new that is happening. Yes, we do need to at least be registered to vote. One reason why I encourage people to register to vote is so that they can actually serve, sorry about that noise, on a jury. You know, you're picked from the voters roll, you're picked on a vote from the voters roll when you are in a jury pool, and they send those notices out, of course. And I tell people, do not turn down jury duty, because if you want to make change, you should sit in a juror box, and especially in a criminal trial, because you will learn some things. You will learn what the law is. You know, of course, you're not going to be an attorney right after that, but you're going to learn some things about how our justice system runs and operates. And maybe you can make the difference in a police shooting of an unarmed black man. Of course, you got to look at what the facts are, but you can make that difference. And of course, I'm saying all of this because earlier today I did a live stream where I talked about the Jacob Blake and Trayford Pellerin shootings. And just to correct some information that I had, Mr. Pellerin was shot 11 times, not 15. Excuse me for saying that. That was in Lafayette, Louisiana. And Jacob Blake, you know, there are reports that are coming out talking about, well, he had a knife, but they've had no proof of that as of yet. and even if he did have a knife, he was walking away from the cops. Did they have to shoot him in his back 8 times while the cop has his hand on Jacob Blake's shirt? And I watched the press conference today. They got Ben Crump up there, and honestly, and I've met Ben Crump. He's a nice guy, but and I hear this all the time. He keeps losing every case that he has, and he's a civil attorney, so his job basically is to get wrongful death claims, as well as if it's not wrongful death, a personal injury. 1983 lawsuit, color under the law, basically saying that the police violated the law, and as such, violated the law. Obviously, the client's due process rights. They acted so negligently, and obstructed his client's constitutional rights. So, as a result of these injuries and so forth, they hold the city liable. Since in this case, it would be the Kenosha, Wisconsin Police Department. They would obviously be liable for the actions of their police officers, which in turn means that the city is also liable, and possibly the state as well, but mostly it's the city. So because they're their own municipality and they run their own police department. So they bring Ben Crump out, and a lot of people I saw some people complain about it, because I'm wondering why Ben Crump keeps getting called out. Like, he has all of those police shootings that he takes care of, and that he's a part of. If it's not Breonna Taylor, it's George Floyd. He's also doing the Trayford Pellerin matter. So I have questions about that, and I see why a lot of people get frustrated. But I saw the press conference, and he talked about marching and so forth. This is the thing that most of the old heads don't get. And I don't understand why we keep doing the same thing over and over again. To do the same thing and to not get any results from it is by definition insanity. Voting, and yet alone marching, what has that gotten black people in the last 50 years? What has marching done? We're talking about doing another march on Washington. From my understanding, Ben Crump was mentioning that. How is that going to help black people? Honestly, what is that going to do? You're in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and you're going to march on Washington, hoping and asking white people will change. Meanwhile, white supremacists are making tactical decisions, adapting to their environment, like a Richard Spencer. Did you know that Richard Spencer is endorsing Joe Biden? Okay, this is a white supremacist who basically was the face, was the de facto leader of the alt-right movement in this country that got Donald Trump elected. And he's voting for Joe Biden now. And of course, Biden denounced his endorsement. He doesn't want it. But you know what? I think this is a strategy, though, that Richard Spencer is realizing, because at least in point of they're going off of what benefits that they can get, and they're not obviously he's not getting anything under Donald Trump. He's going to Joe Biden now because perhaps his policies, he knows, will not benefit black people in this country. And I'm thinking that may be a strategy. Some people say, well, it might be, he might still go vote for Trump, but is doing this to basically ward off, I guess, voters from voting for Joe Biden. Ultimately, you don't know how someone is going to vote when they go inside that booth and pull that lever or press that button. But purpose of why I actually came on here, that's another video for another conversation. I want to talk about this. Now, you guys know who this is. Earlier today, I watched a video with LeBron and Chris Paul, both talking about the Jacob Blake shooting. And I respect their opinions. They have a right to their opinion. But, You know, I saw Chris Paul talking about how he's going to get his team, make sure everybody's registered to vote, and LeBron James is going to be is supposed to be setting up something with his group to make sure people get to the polls and they're registered and so forth. You know, he even made a statement talking about how we got an opportunity to make change in November. It's not going to stop there, but that's where it starts. Guys, I did this video a couple weeks ago about why we should not listen to celebrities. And I'm going to be clear about what I say. I mean what I say when I say this. Stop letting celebrities direct you in how you feel and what you want to do. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to their opinion. I'm not even saying that they're dumb or anything like that. I'm not saying that. Because I take LeBron James and Chris Paul, to be smart gentlemen. I've met Chris Paul, very nice guy, cool dude. LeBron James, from all things that I've heard, is a pretty cool guy. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to social issues and how things work, some of them don't have a clue. Sometimes they get it wrong. That's not meant to be ugly, but that's just the truth. We can't be looking to celebrities to be our spokespersons for anything. Explain to me, how is it if we vote, let's say you vote out Donald Trump, what is Joe Biden going to do that Barack Obama didn't do? We had a black president for 8 years where these acts were going on, from Trayvon Martin to Mike Brown to Terrence Crawford. You had Tamir Rice in your home city, LeBron. Remember, Tamir Rice got killed out in Cleveland, and even you said that you didn't know anything about it. Tamir Rice's own mother called you out for that. Like, you should have known something about that. At least Tamir Rice's mom called out Barack Obama when Barack Obama wouldn't say anything about it. She even said, I don't know how he sleeps at night. Freddie Gray in 2015. Alton Sterling in 2016. Every time these incidents happen, we always talk about doing the same thing: march and vote, go and march and vote, protest, so forth. I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of marching. I'm tired of walking. What is that going to do us? What good does that have? What has gotten us anywhere in this country in progress as far as our economic situation? We're still the last ones hired and the first ones fired. We still got, I saw a title on MSNBC. The black unemployment rate is almost identical to what it was in 1968 when Dr. King was assassinated. Yeah, of course it fluctuates from time to time, but we make up 12.5% of the population. Exactly how does that control a nation of over 320 million people? Explain to me that. Explain that to me. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be registered to vote. That's a good thing. Yes, we should all serve on jury pools. We need to vote and be active in our local government. I believe in that. Our state governments, our municipalities. But whoever is in the White House, Brother LeBron, you know this as well as I do, and even you, Brother Chris Paul, that is not going to change a damn thing in this country. You change things with economics. You change things, with money. Not that I'm asking you for money, but hey, if you got some, you can give it. Let's not forget that how slavery ended, you know, as sad as it is a story to tell, it took thousands of people dying. The bloodiest war in United States history was the Civil War. And unfortunately, it took people, excuse me, it took a civil war to free black people. It took violence to do that. You know, sometimes it's necessary. Now, let me be clear about my video. What I'm saying is, am I encouraging people to go and randomly kill people? No, absolutely not. But I do see that this country is falling apart right now. It's not good. I don't see how a 78-year-old man is going to change that. I don't see how a 78-year-old man who's already said that he's not for defunding the police is going to change that. He has stated out of his own mouth that he's here to keep the status quo. Kamala Harris, she was entitled this nation's toughest cop. She's pro-police. She's pro-prosecution. Y'all explain to me how that's going to change a thing. That's all I got for this video, guys. You stay tuned for more videos. This has been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents. If you would like to donate to this channel, you can donate to the Cash App at GavinRichardEsq, and as well as the GooglePay description, which is the email gavin.grich1@gmail.com. If you would like to see me do more videos, you can also email me and send to me any suggestions that you have. I'll holler, guys. Peace and blessings. Good night.